All right, let's do a comparison between Azure AI Services and Azure AI Studio. It's more confusing than that because we actually have Azure OpenAI Services and Azure OpenAI Studio. And I want to just make it very clear what is the difference between these four things. We are going to iterate on this a few times, so I'm sure by the time you're done this course, you'll know distinctly what these four things are, but they are confusing initially. So the first is Azure OpenAI Services. So this is a resource. I'm not sure I put an S on here, but this is a resource that provides API access to allow you to deploy and programmatically work with OpenAI LLM models. Okay, so if you want to work with GPT-4 or whichever one that is a product that OpenAI provides you, this is the resource you spin up. It gives you a key, it gives you an endpoint. The next thing is Azure OpenAI Studio. So this is a GUI that provides an easy way to interact with OpenAI Services API and also the Azure AI Services API. But the whole focus here is that if you aren't a programmer and you want to work with a chatbot or do RAG or experiment with a lot of the AI offerings that Microsoft has, is going to be in this interface. Okay. Then we have Azure AI Services. So this is a collection of Azure AI Services APIs intended to be used programmatically via a single API key. This was previously called the cognitive services, and they just kind of group them all together and put them under a single key to make your life a lot easier. Then you have Azure AI Studio, and this is a GUI that provides an easy way to interact with Azure AI Services, large language models, so from OpenAI Services, generative images, and more. So this is very similar to OpenAI Studio, and it could end up replacing Azure OpenAI Studio, but right now they both exist. But the key difference is that it provides a wider range of LLM models. So here you can deploy not just OpenAI models, but things like Minstrel or Cohere or other ones like that. It also allows you to scope workloads into projects. So that is one key difference between OpenAI Studio. When you provision, let's say Azure OpenAI Studio, it will end up creating OpenAI services and probably an AI services as well, or vice versa. So you can either create these individually and not use the studios at all. You can create these and then launch the studios, or you can create the studio and then it will create these resources indirectly. So it is really confusing. What is the best way? I'm not really certain. At some points, I feel more confident than others, but we'll get through it. And just understand that this is Azure. Their naming gets confusing, and they have multiple products that have serious overlap, but that's just how it is, okay? And we'll be in both, so you're not going to be too confused, but I just wanted to make sure that this is very clear, okay? There's these four things, and they all kind of work together, okay?